Hello, you guys. It's Miss Julia. My story to read to you guys today is Grampa Lop. I hope you enjoy. Grampa Lop, written by Stephen Cosgrove, illustrated by Robin James. Deep within the forest of dreams lies a gnarled thicket of wood. The branches fold out far above to form a rich green umbrella that protects all the creatures that live here from the crystal spring showers of early April and May. The rains fall for an hour, maybe two, and then the sun, like golden ribbons at a country fair, stream through the leaves to the ground below. It was in this thicket that the rabbits of the forest lived and played all their lives. There were rabbits with big, fluffy tails, and rabbits with barely any tails at all. Short ones, fat ones, skinny ones, fluffy ones, and one very old rabbit called Grampa Lop. Grampa Lop was so old that his fur had long since turned to gray. He wore a tattered scarf wrapped around his neck and always carried a twisted stick that he used for a cane. Every afternoon, at about 2 or 3, Grampa Lop would sit on his favorite stump and enjoy the warmth of the sun. He would sit quietly until, without his noticing, all the young rabbits would gather around his feet. They would try to be quiet, but it was so hard that a couple of them had to stuff their ears in their mouth to keep from laughing. Grampa Lop would lean back on the stump, look around, and begin in a very soft, low voice.
Once upon a time, in a land of mist and magical things, there was an enchanted forest.
As he would slowly tell the tale, a very strange and wondrous thing would happen. Grampa Lop would begin to stand straighter and straighter. The sunlight would flash from his blue eyes and sparkle throughout the forest, and his fur would glow. The little rabbits would be totally enchanted as he recounted his tale, because suddenly the very old Grampa Lop would become the Wizard of the Wood. Most of the rabbits would get so caught up in the story itself that they wouldn't even know that he had finished. He would have to say, "Now, little bunnies, it's time you were on your way." And with that, they would scamper back to the thicket in the wood. Now, the older rabbits were becoming more and more concerned about the little ones. One day, after the little bunnies had disappeared as usual, the older rabbits all gathered together at the thicket. "I wonder where they go?" they asked themselves. "Every day they disappear at the same time. I bet they go off and see that old useless rabbit, Grampa Lop," said one. "I just know they're up to no good." They chittered and chattered for a while and then decided that when the little rabbits returned that afternoon, they would find out exactly what was going on. The baby bunnies did as they were told, but they could never forget the magic of the Wizard of the Wood. Sometimes when they were all alone, they would whisper about how much fun it had been, but most of the time they would just shuffle about the thicket, making dust and feeling very sad. The older rabbits tried to cheer them up, and sometimes they would even tell a story, but it just wasn't the same. It got so bad that the little bunnies began to bicker among themselves. It would start innocently with one bunny bumping another bunny, but it always ended in a tangle of arms, legs, and ears as they wrestled on the ground. Finally, some of the older rabbits couldn't stand it anymore and called all the rabbits together. "This has got to stop," they said. "With all this moping and bickering, nothing is getting done. Food isn't being collected, new burrows aren't being built, and winter's coming." "If we could just hear the magical stories of Grampa Lop," said one of the bunnies, "we wouldn't get into so much trouble." "But there's no such thing as magic," fumed the other rabbits. "You lied about that before." "We didn't lie. We told you the truth. And if you go with us, we'd show you that there really is magic." "We will indeed go with you to your Wizard of the Wood, if only to prove that there is no such thing as magic." They all hopped into the forest and down the long, twisty trail to the stump where Grampa Lop sat waiting. He sat as he had always sat, sunning himself and gazing softly into the sky. The little bunnies quickly sat at his feet, while the older rabbit sat disbelievingly on an old rotting log. Grandpa Lop leaned back and, with a gleam in his eye, began in a very soft, low voice.
Once upon a time, in a land of mist and magical things, there was an enchanted forest.
The older rabbits looked on in wonder as Grandpa Lop began to stand straighter and straighter. The sunlight began to flash from his crystal blue eyes as he told the tale, and sparkles of magic began to twinkle in the forest around them. As the story wore on, his fur turned from gray to silver, and he truly became the Wizard of the Wood. All the rabbits, young and old, were totally enchanted as the story came to a beautiful ending. The moment was so beautiful, some of the older rabbits even had tears in their eyes. No one said a word, so afraid were they to break this magical spell. But one by one they rushed to Grandpa Lop and hugged him with all the love in their hearts. The older rabbits never apologized for the wrong they had done the bunnies and Grandpa Lop, for everyone knew that sometimes even older rabbits make mistakes too. But every day now, at exactly the same time, all the rabbits hopped from the thicket and brushed to listen to Grandpa Lop become the Wizard of the Wood. Listen to the older ones, their golden stories true. Then remember Grandpa Lop and the magic he showed you.